Hello and welcome. Today is the 5th day of October 2017. My name is Derek and welcome to this evening's crypto trading video. Let's go over a few comments. First from Fredchie Peanut. We do a new video on XBY. And I've been meaning to do a few codes. I was going to do ones like which ones make the list. And if you're familiar with WWE Wrestling and Chris Jericho, XBY, it made the list. And it's a good list. But I was going to do a list, my entire list of like 25, 30 codes. Not all of them are ones that are traded exclusively on smaller exchanges like XBY. But that's what I want to do in this video is go over my favorite ones that you cannot find on Bittrex or Poloniex or Bitfinex. Ones you can only find on sites like Cryptopia, mainly on all of these. Coin Exchange, Nova Exchange, all the lower ones. So I want to go over some of those, XBY being another one. Go over my favorites. Smartcoin. We will also go over Rain as well as NLC2. And if I can think of or look at a couple other ones, I'll put them in as well. So there'll only be two codes we will look at within the TradingView platform. The Bitcoin one on the screen, as well as from the second comment, MTM Crypto, stating, "Thanks, Derek. Curious to hear your analysis of Stratus. Currently, it's almost fully retraced from the April to early June bull phase. I feel like it's an extremely good buy at this price, and I haven't seen that chart in quite some time. So I'll take a look at it, go through some raw technical analysis amongst such. So the order will be that of Bitcoin, Stratus, XBY. Then I'll move on to Smart, then Rain, then NLC2, and probably a couple other extra ones after that. And of course, everything you do from this information is always upon your own risk and your own reward." Bitcoin daily time frame. I like today's session. I like how it's been finding some support amongst the 18 average of highs like this after a 2 red candle down situation. Coming back to this little key area. It's if it can get in above this level, that would be super fantastic. But for me as a trader, I look at results and such. I've calculated my portfolio value, which is practically the exact same here as it was in here, as I've successfully overperformed the Bitcoin market about 15% in a month and change. And that's what I'm looking to do. I have done so 7 of the last 8 months. I have ended the month with more Bitcoins from trading than I did before, with the exception that being July. So that's what my goal is. I've successfully done so, and I'll keep doing so, which is why I like to talk within these alternate coins. So then, let's take a look at the next one, which will be the Strat code, a chart I have not seen in several days, a few weeks rather. And my early views on such is this candle in here was a very interesting statement because it ended the session barely closing below this low, making a statement, I'm ready to break this key support, pretty much validating such within the next couple days. Now I look at how large of a leg lower do I expect it to have from this 10 number. And right now it's been about a 15 or 18% decline from just the 10 number. It's been an extreme decline, going from 45 or 450 to 81, 82. That's over 5 times down. This is sick volatility with a lot of these ones. I would not be a buyer just quickly looking at this, but I need to see more data, and I'm going to do such. And when I see this on the weekly, I'm looking at what is this extreme, amazing bull run, going from 405 to 005 almost. So it made about an 80x gain or so. Pretty good. Okay. It didn't find the greatest of support within the this 18 average band test. After bottoming here, hitting the 18 average of highs, pulling back. Again, testing the 18 average of highs, pulling back. And then from this little sets, or these four candles anyway, was showing that the buyers were not coming in. Key support was established, and then when you break it, expect a fast move to this previous low. We can see that it bounced from here. On the next period, it had a tick up to the 18 average of highs. So thus, when it came back down to 10 in here, that meant that support would often chance be greater to be taken out, where great spot or decent spot to buy in here. Obviously, this is all you had to sell for. When I see something like this, I'm going to usually talk about 61.8%. And I'm going to go from this low to this high, and I'm going to put the calculation on a program in which I made on the upper left part of the screen right now. And within such, the 61.8%, which actually represents 38.2% down, is in at current price action. And at 88,663, price is in at 82, and usually these numbers are pierced extra, which is what 82,000 is, further extra price movement. And if that's the case, then that would be a good time to buy. And it's been down 5 periods in a row. I do see that if it does go any further, we have price action a little closer to north of 6. It doesn't coincide with any of these numbers. The 31,723, it would be a 61.8% correction down. It does not coincide at all, complete opposite of such, with any key areas. Thus, if you look at it blindly, that area means nothing. The 23.6% down move represents 76.4 in at 167. That's an area that was just roughly in around here. You know, it's very difficult to state within this. I think within the strategy that I like to talk about, just selling when the prices go up, buying when the prices go down. I mean, if you started here and you bought a whole beep load of these things and you had sell orders in every position, sell, sell, sell. I mean, maybe you bought back here. I mean, you could have sold here, bought back here. There's some gains along the way. But now it also means that you're able to buy back. And even if you're trying to enter into positions for the first time, you want to wait for some declines. And if you want to keep adding into it, well, if it keeps going lower, that's a strategy for entry positions. And you're like, okay, you buy something at 82, you'll buy more around 60. Then, of course, I've talked about the number in at 31.7. It's one strategy that can be used. Now, okay, this is 8.5 minutes, so I want to go somewhat quick the rest of the way. Let's go to XBY, but I'm going to use coinmarketcap.com. So let's bring up that site. And we're going to take a look first at XBY. And we take a look at on here. I have it set, I like the fact they got log scale on here is just fantastic. So then, just looking at its entire run, it's had its run higher from the original point, making its higher lows and higher highs. Since this top and at around the 1500 or so plateau, it's been making the pattern of lower highs and lower lows down to this level in here, and I stated that if it came down to 250, I did this in a book that I wrote just before August timeframe, that I felt I'd buy at 250 and sell at 500 is an easy, well, I'm not going to say it was an easy play, but it was a pretty good one anyway. And sure enough, that was true, because when markets go down to a key point, you expect either bullishly or bearishly it's going to make it up to a key level like this, and that's the case. So now how is it going to react from this point? Well, two things have not happened since this high at around 586. And those two things that haven't happened is any type of cautionary signs of this thing breaking down. This level of support, these two levels of support have been holding, and price action is nicely above it right now. As far as resistance is concerned, these two levels have been established. They haven't even been tested yet either. So it's just been going sideways. And when these cryptos go, I've seen it over and over and over. Do they ever? They just go kind of deal. Let's just take a look at it, removing some of the data so we can see it a little more clearer since it's 200 low. So definitely looking still pretty decent. The next one is going to be Smart Cash, SMART. And in this situation in here, it's had some early choppy movements. It's been going down, and well, this is something I was able to pick up on roughly in here, buying it from about 175 up to 250. And it's worked out to be great profits within this rally. And then now again, I'm starting to sell some more within this rally again forward. I didn't sell everything. I've held some back, and I'm looking to unload it if it can get past this resistance. But when I look at charts, I can see that this 600 number, which is resistance here, it was an area congested within here, that if it takes it out, then it's going to probably have at least a move, you would think, around the 12, 13, 1400. Here's a log scale to make it look a little bit better. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. And if it can get past this resistance field, you'd be looking at a normal fast move again. Let's take a look next at rain, which is actually condensate. And this one had a huge move. When you just look at the scale of this thing back in late May was trading at about 50 Satoshi. And then it quickly has a move breaking 1,000 Satoshi, better than a 20x move. You pull back from 1,000 down to about under 168, down close to 100 even. 100 back up. I mean, this is the wild thing about these codes. There's so much profitability to be played if you can play it right. Up to this resistance at 573, back down to 190, and then from this early July point up to late August, making a move over the 3,000 Satoshi handle. So it came from 50 to 3,000. It's pulled back, has rallied since, but if we look at the curve shape, we can see that starting to flatten, maybe head down lower a bit. If a trend line, I mean, it could easily have a more longer term correction. Basically, it's one of those very much wild card situations. It's pending a big move on one side or another. But for myself, I do mathematical programming on results and spreadsheet work. And just quickly looking at my trading for the rain code, I've been able to buy 33,659 of them at the average price of 19.80, and then unload 31,566 of them at an average price of 22.29. So it's all about buying low, selling high. I have sold for more than I have bought, and this psychology for me means the 2,100 tokens that I'm holding are free. Let's move on next to NLC2, which is no limit coin. And this thing has been grinding its way lower. This is like the worst thing for my actual strategy that I use, is when markets either grind themselves down or they just crash straight down. Those are the only two things that destroy. So here we see a situation in which this thing, throughout the start of 2017, was very cheap. 38 Satoshi, 29, heck, even down to 14. So there could have been a lot of profit to be had when you're going from around a dozen or so Satoshi all the way up to 10,000. Because now you're starting to talk about profits of around 1,000 times, 800 times, 500 times easy. At, of course, the lowest levels. And a huge price increase occurred in the summer of this year and has made a nice pattern of higher highs and higher lows, but has since been slowly grinding its way lower. This is another coin that I've been able to basically get my entire portion for free based on my trading. Again, this grinding itself lower has not worked the greatest for me, where it's gone from like, well, one day it goes down like 100 to 150 points each day, basically. Hasn't, because when they say, oh, you can profit on the way down, it's so true, you can. I could do that with most of it. XBY, I mean, so magnificent. It was so easy for me to profit on that one almost every time on the way down. This one has not been the case. It has been very, very difficult based on the way that this has been going down in this kind of nature over the last couple of weeks. When you have movements going up like this, down like this, and then you get the rallies that happen afterwards, it does make it a lot easier. All right then, let me just try to find a couple final codes. We'll look next at Argentum, ARG, and then we'll finish off with the Canadian one. I mean, I don't know what to explain about these moves in here. We'll adjust the logarithmic scaling to that of linear, so volatility extreme, making a lot of the good up and down moves that I'm looking towards in two charts. This is one I've played just very little and thus have very little profits from so far. But it does have, again, the moves that I am looking for as a trader to help me increase my Bitcoin number. Let's take a look finally at the Canadian e-coin. And this is one that was down to 1 Satoshi back in September. Came up towards this with this high in here, pulls back up to this resistance. It's looking in there fairly good so far. Again, I've been able to make small early profits within it. If you want to know where these markets are traded, you search for it within here, as I've been doing. If you go to markets, this will tell you where you can trade it. So you can trade this at Cryptopia, Blue Trade, and Nova Exchange. Those are the spots in which you are able to trade them. So that whatever you're looking for, that's where you can find how to get in these coins when you are interested in doing so. All right, then, thank you for tuning in to today's video and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.